Joining me right now is Anand Oswal. He's the Senior Vice President of the Enterprise Networking Group at Cisco Networks. And Anand, you gave the data economy keynote today. Talk a little bit about what is the current scene of big data economy.
Yeah, so Dipti, first of all, thank you for having me here. We're having 50 billion new devices coming online very soon, 30 million per week. These generate tremendous amount of data. But we're not truly able to make full value of all the data and truly leverage it. So the goal really is for us is to make sure how can we convert this data into information that leads to insights, and insights that leads to actionable intelligence that can affect business outcomes and business processes. And that's what we're really after.
Now, when we talk about big data economy, there's a lot that goes with it. Specifically, in the recent past, there was a big Sony hack. And that's sort of the most eminent danger that you see when you talk about big data economies. Security is a big issue. And then there is the next page to that is data terrorism. How do you combat that while making sure, once you get the information out there, as you said, it's actionable intelligence and it's actually currency. And it, at that point, can be traded or can also be used against you in terrorism. So how do you combat that?
Absolutely. I think security, like you said, is the key thing that we need to take care of in this data explosion. Like, as everything becomes online, we need to take care of security, we need to take care of privacy, we need to take care of compliance. It all starts with having a network that is secure. And that's where it's a foundational element we need to build to ensure that we have the right constructs, the right policies to ensure that we are secure both inside and as we access things in the public cloud as well.
When you talk about big data economy now, India is a country with 1.2 billion people, and it is clearly walking into this space with a very proactive step.
Yes.
With the Digital India Initiative, the Startup India Initiative, and the mobile penetration specifically in countries like India is very heavy. So data is being collected at a very rampant speed there. So how do you ensure that countries like that are entering the space, not making the same mistakes that were made here or in developed nations?
Absolutely. So, all of these countries, the goal is very simple. How do you unlock the value in the data economy? And what we really talk about this is in terms of what I call the 5V model. Use of the variety of data, the velocity of data, the volume of data, the veracity of data to really create value of data, while keeping in mind that we have to have security, compliance and privacy. How do we convert the bits and bytes on the network to actionable intelligence? And we are working with India as well, and many companies that are able to use the digitization to offer rich experiences, new capabilities, and unprecedented economic opportunity. This is huge for us.
When you talk about security, say it is important. How do you address that? That's again something. When you talk about big data, all this actionable data is being held in cloud and is right now it's Amazon essentially. And so when you have one major company controlling most of data, because as big data as a sector continues to grow, your only infrastructure is going to be cloud infrastructure.
Exactly.
And currently, Amazon is undoubtedly the leader, and there's Microsoft as well. But beyond that, how do you ensure equity, or for that matter, any kind of regulation? And I know typically entrepreneurs and engineers do not like regulation, but at this point you're talking about, literally holding on to, billions of mega terabytes of data of population across the globe. That is essentially power with one singular company. How do you dilute that? How do you regulate that? What are we looking at?
So you see, you gave good use cases. We will generate soon 5 terabytes of data per person. A given 747 flight that will generate 180 terabytes of data for a given flight. But majority of the data that is generated is actually useless if you don't act upon it within a given time frame. It has a shell life. So if you don't act on a given time frame and take the right actions, research predicts that majority of this data is actually going to be processed at the intelligent edge. We can continue to move large volume of data to the cloud. It's too big, it's too fast, it's too distributed. Data is growing 10 times faster than bandwidth. So we need to make sure that we have a secure network, an intelligent edge, which I call as a fog computing layer, and correlating the fog computing intelligence with intelligence in the cloud. So the data in motion or the data from now with the data at rest, the data from yesterday, data from today morning. and making sure these connections are secure.
So we're talking about very complex infrastructures, and Cisco being sort of a leader in such complex infrastructures. What are you specifically doing there that you can share with us today?
So, variety of things. If you look at the whole initiative that we talked about with having an intelligent edge, the whole fog computing layer, that's something that we are really pushing forward to. Making sure that we expose enhanced telemetry and not just data, making sure that we are able to have our developers make more sense of this data, then try to have deep network knowledge to build applications on top of that data. So removing the analytical inefficiencies, the developer inefficiencies, the network inefficiencies. We're also having a huge focus on security. Like you said, we need to make sure the network is secure, and also having the intelligent edge and a secure centralized data center, both of them.
That was Anand Oswal, Senior Vice President of Enterprise Networking at Cisco Systems. Thank you so much.